Okay, we're going to be learning how to make a press bowl from coils. So the first thing I'm going to show you how to do today is make a coil. I got a small piece of clay, like maybe a fat Tootsie Roll size, and I started out by rolling it in my hands to get it into the shape. And then I'm going to put it on the table, and I'm going to use my hand, and I'm going to roll back and forth. And when I'm rolling back and forth, I don't want to just go back and forth a little bit. I want to use my whole hand and go all the way across the clay. When I'm rolling my hand, I'm also going to move my hand from the left to the right and back and forth. And that motion is going to stretch the coil out and make it longer and thinner. And you will do this until your coil gets to be the thickness that you want. My coil is already flat on one side. I'm not really sure why, but I'm just going to stop and pat it down a little bit to even it out, and I'm going to start rolling again. And again, I'm going to be rolling from left to right and back again to stretch my coil out and make it thinner. You don't want to apply too much pressure, and you want to make sure that you're using your whole hand and not just going little movements like that. So you can see my coil is getting longer and thinner. For this project, I would say you wouldn't want your coils any bigger than a 1/2 inch thickness. You could even go a little bit smaller. Smaller is fine, but you don't want them to be too thick. They'll crack when you try to form them into the bowl, and you won't be able to make very nice designs because of the thickness. So basically that's how you roll a coil. You'll see that the end gets like a little, it rolls over on itself. So you want to make sure that you cut that off and that you don't have an air bubble going down the center of your coil. And you need to get both ends. And if you happen to see an air bubble, or you think you feel one, then you should cut it off until you think that you're good. And now I think my coil's fine, so I'm going to set it aside and show you the next step. When you make a press bowl, the first thing you'll need is a bowl. And it doesn't have to be a bowl like this. It could be, you can bring any bowl you want from home. You could have a different shape bowl. It doesn't have to be round. It could be oval. It could be any shape. And then you're going to be pressing the clay into the bowl. So in order to release the clay, you need to put a paper towel in your bowl. When you do that, you want to make sure the paper towel is as smooth as possible. So you can see that I put cuts in my paper towel, so when I press it down in my bowl, I can overlap these, and it makes it nice and neat. And then I would just spray and press everything to stay, make everything stay and fit neatly into the bowl. So I have one all set right here. And then you're going to start making designs with your coils. I have rolled a whole bunch of coils, and to keep my coils from getting too dried out, I have them on a damp paper towel. And then I'm just going to take this other paper towel that I have here and spray it and make sure that my coils don't dry out. And if you don't use all your coils in one setting, then you want to take them just like this with the damp paper towels and wrap them in a plastic bag until you can get back to them. So now what's going to happen with my press bowl is I'm going to take my coils and I'm going to start putting them in the bowl. This coil I flattened out with a rolling pin, and you can do different things. You could take this coil and roll it into a spiral like this, or you could not flatten a coil and roll it into a spiral. Or I've taken a coil that I've rolled into a spiral and, cut it in half. I had 2 halves, but I magically made 1 half disappear. So, and then you have to start making arrangements in the bowl. So you want to do whatever you think is going to look pretty. One of the things I want to warn you against is putting a spiral all the way around in the bottom of your bowl, because what will happen as the clay dries and shrinks, the coil will separate and you'll get a crack in the bottom of your bowl. So I'm telling you, do not make the whole bottom of your bowl a spiral. It will break or crack. So I took a coil and chopped it into just short little tubes, or I took a coil and I made some beads. So I'm just going to take my little flattened out coil and put it in my bowl, and then I'm going to put some beads around it. And I'm just going to kind of try and make them stick together for now till I get a design that I like. And then I'm going to take some of these chopped tubes that I made and squish them in there as well. You can see that they have different heights, and that's okay, but try not to get them too different because it's going to be hard in the end to make a nice even surface. It just makes more work for you in the end, so just watch that. So I'm going to put 2 more of those little chopped ones on here like this. And you could think about, you know, maybe you'll have a design theme that you want to do. Maybe you'll have flowers or sunshine or something in mind, or just a basic pattern. So then I'm going to kind of lock those together by putting this flattened out coil around here. And I need to cut that off. And you may notice at this point that I haven't slipped or scored anything together, and I'm not going to. This is a press bowl, and we're going to press the clay all together. You would continue your designs going all the way across the floor of the bowl and up the sides. I'm going to stop right now to show you, as if I had my whole bowl filled in, what you're going to do with the clay. And you're going to need some water. And you're going to start smoothing these pieces together. You don't want to press too hard, and I'm kind of using my fingernail. If you wanted to use a tool, you could scrape. I prefer my finger. You could use a wood tool as well. And you're going to start smoothing out all those designs, blending the clay together. Again, I'm not pressing hard. I just want to make everything blend together, and I want to make it even across the bottom of my bowl, and if I had the whole thing completed, up the sides of the bowl as well. So I'm going to just continue around and smooth that edge out. And then I'm going to show you that everything will stick together. And I want a little more water. I'm just going to spray. You could use a sponge. You may want to use a sponge to smooth everything after you have blended the clay together. Going to act like my bowl is complete, and I want to make everything all nice and neat on the inside. And again, not applying too much pressure, because that design that I made, I want to keep it there. Again, I would complete my whole bowl going up the center, and then when my clay was all leather hard, I could take it out, and then you could see on the outside of the bowl the designs that you put together, and you'll have a beautiful bowl that has interesting texture and great designs. Your bowl should have at least 3 or 4 different designs going on to avoid you making everything just from spirals. I just showed you a few ideas. Your imagination is the only thing that is going to limit you. You could, at this point, take and put spikes coming out the side and bend them up and do something different around the top. So that's how you would make a press bowl.